The protagonist of the WarioWare series, Wario makes his way in Project M. Starting his introduction in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Wario maintains his incredible aerial mobility and he still has the iconic waft down B in his moveset. In Project M, his moveset is more based off of the Wario Land iteration of the character, so people who are used to the original moveset will know that there's obvious changes in Wario this time around. And most people in Project M already know this, but Wario is actually a very good character, being a number 5 character on Project M's final tier list. I can only imagine he rose in the tier list after the Project Plus update because of other characters like Mr.Gameandwatch, who was also in the top 5, getting nerfed. I could definitely see people arguing that Wario being a top 3 character in the Project M meta currently right now. Wario is commonly described as the fat Jigglypuff character, which on paper sounds really weird, but until you realize the two characters have a lot of similarities, they both have down specials that are meant to be extremely powerful KO moves, and they both have incredible aerial mobility, and they're both very strong characters. Wario may not have the recovery as good as Puff, but Jigglypuff is considered a low tier character in Project M, while Wario basically fills the role that Puff was filling in Melee in the Project M meta. Wario is a much heavier version of Puff, which is Puff's greatest weakness is her lightweight, and they both have very similar game plans. So oddly enough, if you play Jigglypuff in Melee, you actually might like Wario in Project M, because Wario definitely fits this meta a lot more than Puff does as of right now. So moving on to the actual changes that Wario received in Project M, Wario's moveset has been retooled from his Brawl iteration, with receiving mostly buffs across the board. Instead of having his trademark bike as his side B, he now has a shoulder bash, which is honestly a way better move. I have no idea why Sakurai has never thought of using the iconic shoulder bash, but instead he chose the bike. You're not really missing that much because shoulder bash is basically way better than the bike. Things like most of his aerials and smash attacks have been retooled to moves that are basically more based on his iteration in Wario Land, and his aerials may lack in disjoint, but they are definitely very fast and powerful aerials and are crazy good at linking combos together. Linking them into his finisher down B is also really good to do, and it feels really awesome, to be honest. Speaking of his finisher, pun intended, Wario's down special charges much faster and is just crazy good when fully charged. It can even be used as a recovery move in some niche scenarios. You can't really forget his Chomp, which is a crazy good move. Wario's Chomp is the equivalent of an aerial special move that is maybe the equivalent to like a grab. So you can basically fall into characters with his mouth open and it grabs even through shield, which is crazy good and it makes for a good aerial mix-up. What makes it even more better is once you are in the Chomp, or once Wario has grabbed somebody with the Chomp, off of the exchange you can now charge your down B even faster, so it makes it more rewardable for actually hitting the Chomp. As stated earlier, the speed of his aerials are incredibly fast, which allows for things like forward air and back air to be very important tools in his moveset. They allow him to weave back and forth in neutral and poke his opponents by bobbing away basically. Again, very similar to Jigglypuff. Wario does struggle with approaching because of his lack of projectiles and he doesn't really have significant disjoints. So it can be hard for Wario to face characters that do have good disjoints like Marth or really, have really good projectiles. Those things can really stuff Wario's approaches. However, because of Wario's weight, he is most likely going to live a large amount of time because of his survivability. And as far as advanced tech goes, not everyone knows this, but you can actually jump while doing grounded side B, so it's actually a crazy good option for the move, especially if you're trying to catch somebody on a higher platform. So finishing off, Wario is for you if you like really floaty characters that complement the engine of Project M really well. Unfortunately, Puff isn't that good in Project M and isn't represented that well in the community, so if you want a character who is more viable than, let's say, Jigglypuff, but kind of fills the same role, then I would definitely recommend Wario, or at least checking him out, trying him out. Like I said, he's arguably top 3, top 5 in Project M's current version right now, the Project Plus version. Some of the best Project M players of all time have played the character. like Strong Bad, like Sosa. So he's definitely a very capable character in Project M, for sure.